Welcome to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios of our flagship stations, 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, where you can also find us in the Birmingham Bloomfield area on Birmingham Area Municipal Access and on City Cable 15 of Southfield. Join us live on Channel 10 in Waterford every day on the Media Network of Waterford, and live to tape on Channel 10 in Lake Orion and Orion Township on Orion Neighborhood Television or ONTV. You can also find us on the radio in the Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Troy areas on the Biff Radio Network, 88.1 FM, the Biff, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Find us online on our Facebook pages at Civic Center TV 15 and at Lakes FM, on our website at civiccentertv.com, and on My Michigan TV or MyMy at mymytv.com, where you can also learn more information about where you can download their free apps for your smartphones and smart TVs. All of that information is on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find all of our programs on demand, including each individual interview. Then let's head over to our news page, civiccentertv.com/local-news, where we have links to the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 from reliable expert resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division, so that you can stay up to date on everything that you need to know about the spread of COVID-19, precautionary tactics that you may or may not need to employ in your daily life, as well as vaccinations and booster shots available in your local area and surrounding areas. Also on our news page, we feature articles from many journalistic outlets throughout the state of Michigan in order to keep you up to date on COVID-19 and other stories making headlines all across the Great Lakes state. Our top story today from Mike Wilkinson of Bridge, Michigan is their coronavirus tracker, where weekly cases are up 8%, but there are signs that the surge may be slowing. COVID-19 cases rose by 8% in the past week to 25,024 confirmed cases, according to officials as of Wednesday, after 5 straight weeks in which they increased at least a 30% rate. Cases averaged 3,575 per day, up from 3,309 the previous week. The case count rose 44% last week and between 31% and 39% in each of the previous 4 weeks as the latest Omicron variant spread across the state. Case rates in most of the state's populous counties were relatively unchanged, including Oakland, Macomb, Kent, and Washtenaw counties. They rose in Detroit, however, from 31 daily cases per 100,000 people to 42 daily cases per 100,000 people. On Wednesday, the state also reported 63 additional COVID deaths over the previous week, a slight drop from the previous week's total of 66. Despite case counts rising sixfold since early April, from 4,800 a week to 25,000 weekly deaths, they have ranged from 77 5 weeks ago to just 52 2 weeks ago. Despite the spike in new coronavirus cases, the spokesperson for the MDHHS told Bridge, Michigan this week that the state remains in its recovery or post-surge designation, in part because of the reduced severity of those who have been hospitalized and because there has not been a spike in deaths. On Wednesday, the state reported 1,146 hospitalizations with COVID-19. Compared to the previous surges, there are still far fewer people getting seriously ill from COVID at this time. There are now 119 patients in the ICU across the state and only 39 on ventilators. On February 25th and August 23rd, when there were similar numbers of COVID-positive patients, there were twice as many in the intensive care units, 244 on February 25th and 258 in August, and 3 times as many on ventilators, 133 on February 25th and 126 on August 23rd. That full article from Bridge, Michigan on our website, civiccentertv.com/local-news, as well as this next article from the Detroit News' Mike Martindale. A judge has ordered the Oxford High School shooter to remain in Oakland County Jail. The judge ordered the shooter accused in the Oxford High School shooting last year to remain at Oakland County Jail. His monthly pretrial review is required by law. The alleged shooter has been in Oakland County Jail since he was charged after the November 30th shooting that left 4 students at Oxford High School dead, and in addition, 6 students and a teacher additionally wounded. The shooter, who turned 16 last month, has been charged with multiple felonies, including first-degree murder. His attorney plans an insanity defense for their client, who faces up to life in prison if convicted of those charges. Thursday's placement hearing is the 4th monthly review since February on the alleged shooter's incarceration at Oakland County Jail, as defense attorneys have sought to get him transferred to the county's Children's Village facility for juvenile offenders or those faced with criminal offenses. Prosecutor Karen McDonald and Children's Village officials have maintained that the alleged shooter being held in isolation in the adult jail, quote, was and has been in the interest of justice, end closed quote. A legal brief Wednesday by Judge Kwame Rowe by Assistant Prosecutor Kelly Collins said since the last review on April 21st, the alleged shooter and his court-appointed guardian ad litem, quote, have identified an agency to serve his educational needs so he can work toward obtaining his GED, general education degree, end closed quote. The filing dated May 18th said after reviewing supplemental information and factors, the court's previous rulings, quote, should not be disturbed. It remains in the interest of justice that the defendant continues to be housed at Oakland County Jail where his needs are being and will continue to be met, end closed quote. Rowe has set a tentative trial date for September 6th, but noted that could change. The shooter's parents, however, James and Jennifer, also remain in the county jail. They're being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, according to prosecutors, because they had purchased a handgun for their son and failed to safely store the weapon away from him. He is believed to have allegedly have used said weapon in the massacre at Oxford High School on November 30th. Prosecutors have accused the couple of ignoring warning signs about their son, including pleas for mental health help and disturbing drawings on his homework. On the day of the shooting, school officials had suggested that the teen had been sent to mental health counseling. The family, however, refused. School officials allowed him then to remain in the building and go back to class. The shooting and the events leading up to it have sparked multiple lawsuits from relatives of the victims as well as survivors who accuse district officials of negligence, among other issues. This week, Oxford Community Schools officially approved hiring a firm to investigate and review the shooting. It's an independent firm. Just to clarify. Meanwhile, Thursday's hearing came hours before Oxford High marked its graduation ceremony. 2 seats were left empty to symbolize Tate Muir and Madison Baldwin, who were both seniors and would have been graduating at said ceremony. The school district said it plans to move forward with a permanent memorial for the slain students. Lastly, making headlines at civiccentertv.com/local-news from Chanel Stitt with the Detroit Free Press. The founder of Zap Zone is building a massive entertainment facility with an arcade, restaurants, glow golf, and much more in the local area. Glass Ismail, the founder of Zap Zone Fun Centers, has been purchasing plots of land in Pittsfield Township since 1999, and now something big is on the docket. That's the tagline being used by Ismail's new 74,000 square foot entertainment center that is almost fully open in Ypsilanti and the Ann Arbor area. Best in Games brings a variety of experiences: a glow golf selfie museum, indoor go-karting, a Ninja Warrior course, a drop tower, axe throwing, bowling, trampolines, bumper cars, virtual reality, laser tag, and more than 125 arcade games. Ismail, the owner of the property, wants the entertainment space located at 4095 Carpenter Road to be an immersive experience for children, teenagers, and adults. He wants to see corporate parties and bonding taking place, but also birthday parties and everyday fun as well. Quote, I was working on something that could fulfill everybody, said Ismail, who's 51 and out of Novi. He continued on by saying, quote, so it was very difficult to put it together, and everyone told me you cannot entertain adults and kids in the same place, end closed quote. But he made it happen. The large game room separates people in the restaurants from those using the rides and Ninja Warrior courses. Ismail also took some inspiration from casinos, where the aisles have 7-foot wide walking gaps, and the third floor, which holds go-karting, bowling, and a bar, feels like a completely different building. The experience starts outdoors, where there will be fire pits lining the patio. When walking into the space on the first floor, you'll see a restaurant surrounded by several big screen TVs and activities on each floor that can fill an entire day. The menu at Rocco's Bar and Grill includes pasta and steak entrees, hamburgers, sandwiches, salads, and vegetarian options. The other bars are Candy Club Bar and Pit Bar. The third floor, which is fully operational, includes indoor go-karting, classic arcade games, and bowling. The rest of the space will be opening near the end of the month. Ismail said, quote, it's relaxing, nice sound music. Your people watching, you got a lot of room. You got a bar there if you want to drink, in close quote. The relaxing feeling occurs until you're wearing a helmet and driving 45 miles per hour in a go-kart. The entertainment center will replace the Zap Zone on Carpenter Road and has one of the first laser tag spaces with an open window where you can be on the first floor and see people play in the game. The laser tag is part of the area where visitors can access more than over 10 activities at $39 for 2 hours. Ismail said it was important to keep the affordability of laser tag, which is typically $9 a game, but add more experiences to the price. Ismail can come up with a major project idea and see it to fruition sometimes within 2 weeks, and he always says, quote, go big or go home, and closed quote. He came up with a concept called, quote unquote, Golfy, which is the combination of immersive selfie museum and putt-putt golf with 18 holes and 20 photo opportunities. While putt-putting, you can sit on a replica of the Simpsons set, walk through Alice in Wonderland, say hello to SpongeBob, and see what the Candyland world looks like. The go-karting track is inside, and with the use of electric go-karts and a ventilation system, the company was able to create a safe indoor option for the track. And then it comes to the big goal, becoming the next big thing for the owner, Ismail, who is from Canada. When he moved to Michigan, he opened his first Zap Zone in Canton and later expanded to Ann Arbor, Battle Creek, Brighton, Farmington, Lansing, Taylor, Sterling Heights, Waterford, and even Windsor, Ontario in Canada. He also is the owner of Bonaventure Skating Center in Farmington Hills, Rollerama in Brighton, Escape Room Zone, which has 5 locations, and Azure Chamber of Horrors in Madison Heights. When he bought the first plot of land where the entertainment center is now located, he intended to build something, but there wasn't enough space. As the years went on, he continued to purchase more land. Quote, I didn't realize how expensive it would be to build from the ground up, Ismail said, continuing on. As I would keep obtaining land, I would build the Zap Zone bigger and better. It took my 30 years of experience building Zap Zones through the years to build this magnitude of nuclear, unbelievable fun. Pittsfield Township Supervisor Mandy Grewal has been working for 14 years to make the community-centric spaces focusing on people, which she calls, quote, the heartbeat of the county, and closed quote. Quote, we created mixed-use-based districts about 10 years ago to provide for these destination spots where folks could come and recreate through parks and different forms of entertainment, Grewal said. I think what Gaz is doing is very representative of creating a community-centric space, which is centrally located for folks to get to from not just all around Washtenaw County, but really the region, and come together to enjoy each other and promote a positive vibe, and closed quote. Grewal said Ismail has been having conversations about this idea for about 7 years. The design process started in 2017, the groundbreaking in in 2019, and now the space can hold about 1,000 people. With the addition of Best in Games, he is expecting to bring about 150 jobs to the area, both full and part-time positions such as customer service, attraction operations, bartenders, sales, wait staff, and hosts. Quote, I feel like not only is this a new invention by Gaz, adding more jobs, but it's adding the type of jobs which are also valuable to the working class, the frontline worker jobs. We can add to the diversity of the jobs that we can support here in our community, Grewal said. Ismail said, quote, with the right people behind me, if I want to do it, we could become national because it's got the national vibe. Right now, I'm just going to take it and enjoy this place, and closed quote. All those articles from today's edition of the Megacast on our website, civiccentertv.com/local-news, as well as those ever helpful links to accurate information that's consistently updated by the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division regarding COVID-19. We have a great program ahead on this Thursday edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Dr. Pam Clark from the Grace Centers of Hope Women's Program. Then at the bottom of the hour, the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair's Angela Klein will join us. That's all up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Neighborhood storm drains carry water directly to local creeks and streams. No filters, no treatment.
Storm drains also help reduce street flooding when it rains.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
It is easy to do your part by adopting a storm drain.
Find a storm drain, check it, and clear it every month.
So keep storm drains for rain only.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
We as Michiganders feel connected to this resource in a way that I think is really powerful.
Conservation starts with a caring, committed community.
For me, it's peaceful to have a relationship with the river.
Every single one of us has a role to make sure that those waterways stay safe and healthy, being careful about what goes down the storm drain.
Just even eliminating some of your single-use plastic makes a difference.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast or click on our Megacast link at civiccentertv.com to find all of our full episodes on demand as well as each individual interview and learn more information about all of our partnering TV, radio, and web outlets that join us each and every day. Joining us now on the program is Dr. Pam Clark. She is the director of the women's program at Grace Centers of Hope and joins us now on the Oakland County Megacast. Dr. Clark, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, for those that are unfamiliar with Grace Centers of Hope, can you give us a little bit of a background on this organization, the ways that it benefits the local community?
Right, Tyler. Grace Centers of Hope is a rehab homeless shelter. We have a program for women, children, and kids, men also. They come into our program. They're usually addicted to drugs. They've been abused. They've been neglected. And we're seeing more and more women that have been trafficked by the situation that's happened to them. And they come in for a year and work on their issues. They have a case manager, counselor. Their children can come in with them. We have a state-of-the-art daycare. They have classes on the issues that, that they're dealing with. And also this case manager will help them, deal with the courts and whatever that's happened along the way. Then we also have a 2-year aftercare program where they can live in one of our 58 houses and they pay a small amount for rent and they work and become productive citizens.
And so how do people come to Grace Centers of Hope? Is this something where they voluntarily enter? Is it court ordered? Is it some other means that they come through?
Most people come because they want to. Getting clean from alcohol, drugs is difficult. You know, so if your mother wants you to, or your uncle, you know, that usually doesn't work. But when you decide you actually want to change your mindset and get off of drugs or alcohol, you know, that usually works at Grace Centers. We have a few that are court ordered, but probably 85% have come on their own.
We're joined by the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, Dr. Pam Clark, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dr. Clark, give us a little bit of information on your background and how you got involved with Grace Centers of Hope.
Well, I probably didn't go to college to be here, but my husband was put on the board, and he said, I had a small private practice at that time, and he said, come out here and look at this. I don't have anything for women. I just have for men. So I came out and I just fell in love. I mean, these are precious women that have been abused and neglected, and they just grab my heart. I love them, and just to see the change, the transformations, you know, we see miracles here every day. And women that came in and they're 90 pounds, they've been using heroin for 20 years, and then God gets a hold of them and they change their life. And you know, it's really a mindset. You know, we call it change from the inside out. They begin to deal with the deep issues, and then they begin to look different on the outside. And it's amazing what they can accomplish.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You mentioned earlier that in discussing with your husband some of the programs at Grace Centers of Hope while he was on the board of the organization, that he had said that we have a lot for men, but we don't have any women's programs. And so you, as the Women's Program Director, can you tell us about the Women's Program, how it got started, and what that entails at this moment in time at Grace Centers of Hope?
It's amazing. In fact, Kyle, we just put in another building because we were turning away so many women. We are the only program in Southeast Michigan that rehabs women and children together. We also have a program for men, but that women can come in and bring their children, and we have a state-of-the-art daycare, and we have counselors for their children. So not only are they getting help, but these children have been taken with these parents along with during their drug use, which creates all kinds of problems and abuse with the children. A lot of the children were taken away from their parents at one point in time. And Grace Centers of Hope, the Women's Program, goes to court with them. When they begin to turn their life around, they begin to have visits, and, you know, that we integrate these families back together. I mean, that's one of the things we really believe in, is community. Like, God created family. In fact, what's happening in the United States is the deterioration of families. So we're trying to put families back together and unite these and teach these women how to be mothers and how to deal with their children, you know, at the ages that they return to them.
And so how different is it to put programs together specifically for women as opposed to more general programs for the entire population of those that are at Grace Centers of Hope for their 1-year program or in their recovery phase program for 2 years?
You know, we did some stats. That's a good question. We did some stats quite a few years ago, and more women, about 80% more women, stayed in the program longer when they had their children with them. You know, that fact that I have 2 kids here and they need for me to stay here and finish the program and be accountable and learn to be balanced and deal with my issues and learn how to be a good mom. So women that are single, you know, will leave a lot easier than a mom that has 3 children with her.
We're joined by Pam Clark, Dr. Pam Clark, the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dr. Clark, coming up on Saturday, April 23rd, that's a week from Saturday, it's the 24th annual Grace Centers of Hope Women Helping Women Luncheon and Fashion Show. Can you tell us about the event and also how this event helps to support the women's program through Grace Centers of Hope?
We are so excited. This is the 24th annual Women Helping Women Fashion Show and Luncheon, and it's at the gorgeous Royal Park Hotel, and the meal is phenomenal. And it's especially after 2 years of being in lockdown, it's good that women can get out and get together and dress up and have an elegant meal. And it's really helps the Grace Centers of Hope because it raises the money that we can continue supporting these women and children for another year. And there, you know, some of the stats that I was reading the other day, that this heroin epidemic, this, you know, is like deteriorating the next generation. In fact, we're having more deaths in the United States than we are births because of the pandemic and drug abuse, because women and kids and men are ODing. Also, last year was the highest rate of children, 14 to 18 deaths because of overdose. So it is an epidemic here in our country, here in Michigan. And so being able to turn that around, turn women around, thousands of women get their life back. So the fashion show is just an amazing event, and it's just a fun way to do it. I mean, women get to dress up and have a wonderful meal and see the lives change. We have videos, and we have women with their testimonies of where they came from and where they're going. They've been rescued and turned around.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on the website at gracecentersofhope.org. That's gracecentersofhope.org. Go to the top of their page. There is a special segment. There's a section there called Special Events, and just one drop down from that is the fashion show tickets and fashion show information, so you can learn more about their Women Helping Women Luncheon and Fashion Show. That is Saturday, April 23rd, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And if you'd like to learn more about the event as well and ask any questions, you can contact their special events coordinator, April Melick, at amelik@gracecentersofhope.org. That's AMELIK at gracecentersofhope.org. Dr. Clark, can you talk about some of the fashion designers and retailers who will be participating in this special event?
We are so excited that Somerset Collection is going to partner with us, and some of the retailers, Anne Fortain is going to be, we're going to start with them. In fact, this afternoon, I'm taking 8 of our models to Somerset, and they will get to try on beautiful outfits. And we call this, when they're at Grace Centers, we call it change from the inside out. But they get to start today with the outside and, you know, be pampered. They get their hair done, they get their makeup done, and it's just so rewarding to see them in that light. And we just want to thank again Somerset Collection for being involved with us.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, the director of the Women's Program at Grace Centers of Hope. More information on the Women's Program, as well as the Women Helping Women Luncheon and Fashion Show event happening on April 23rd from 10 to 2 p.m. on gracecentersofhope.org. That's gracecentersofhope.org. There was a very special moment at every fashion show. That is the Grace Centers of Hope women models who are proud to sort down the runway right alongside professional models as well. Can you talk about that relationship in this event and how that helps to make this a special moment, but also a moment of partnership out in the community as well?
Right. The professional models are unbelievable. And for our girls to be up there on the stage with these gorgeous outfits, and the models will help them get dressed and show them how to walk, and it's just amazing transformation for these girls. It's a once in a lifetime. Who gets to A, go to the Royal Park, and B, wear the clothes from Somerset and walk on the runway with professional models that kind of give you tips. And these professional models are so good to my girls. They want to hear their stories, and professional models have stories also. And also our kids at Grace Centers, we have 6 children that will be modeling clothes from Somerset Collection for them to see them walk down. It's the sweetest thing ever. These little kids, whatever they do is cute. I mean, we've had them take the mic and talk, and we've had them run, and we've had them really strut their stuff. It's amazing, and a one-time life experience for them also.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on the Women's Program, on Grace Centers of Hope, and on the Women Helping Women luncheon and fashion show fundraiser event on their website, gracecentersofhope.org. Dr. Clark, if people are interested in attending the event or helping out as a sponsor, where can they get more information or purchase tickets to this event?
We do have some tickets left, which is amazing. They can go to www.gracecentersofhope.org, or they can call 248-334-2187, and they can purchase a ticket that way.
More information on their website, gracecentersofhope.org, where you can purchase tickets by going to their special events page and clicking on Fashion Show Tickets at the top of their website, or as Dr. Clark said, by calling the Grace Centers of Hope phone number at 248-334-2187. Specifically, it's 248-334-2187 for more information. Dr. Clark, anything else about the women's program that we haven't spoken about today that would be interesting or important for our audience to know, or anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
These women that are going to be the models are so excited. And I just, you know, people that come to the fashion show, they are the reason that Grace Centers of Hope Women's Program stays open. And what amazing blessing that is, that you can be a part of changing another woman's life. That's why we call it Women Helping Women.
Dr. Clark, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a break on the Oakland County Megacast. When we come back, we'll explore art in Ann Arbor and preview the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair with Angela Klein. That's up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior.
These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance.
They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different.
One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games?
Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Whatever gets you talking.
Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. for help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Whether you're the city,
The county.
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
We work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
a rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime-victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on everything you need to know about our program, including all of our partnering TV, radio, and other media outlets that join us each and every day for a full 2-hour program, Monday through Friday, 5 days per week. In late July, there'll be art in several blocks of Ann Arbor from hundreds and hundreds of artists of all different mediums and all different levels of talent, fame, and more at the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair. Joining us from the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair now to tell us more is Angela Klein. Angela, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So it's slated for, the art fair is slated for Thursday, July 21st through Saturday, July 23rd. We will be featuring some special interviews with featured street art fair artists throughout that week and leading up to that. And today we kick off the interviews with you, the new executive director. Can you tell us about your role at the Ann Arbor Street Art Fair and how putting this art fair together in this particular year is similar to years past but different because of the situation that we're in, starting to come out of this COVID-19 crisis?
Well, we're thrilled to be back, really in full force. We're back and ready to go, and excited to bring all the things that we brought in 2019. The fair was reduced in 2021, but now it's back in full force. So we're very excited to be back, really.
And this is a significant yearly annual event in Ann Arbor, the art fair. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Ann Arbor Art Fair and how that helps to inform bringing this back to full force in 2022?
Well, it was in the late 1950s. We've been around a long time. So the business owners came to the Ann Arbor Artists Association with the idea of the artists hanging work at the bargain days. And then it was such, they partnered with the Handweavers Guild and the Potters Guild, and it was such an enormous hit. I think even students were able to pay tuition for the fall semester, the artists that had participated. And now, and then in 1967, that added the Summer Art Fair and the State Street Art Fair. And now we operate under the umbrella of the Ann Arbor Art Fair. It's one event and 3 fairs with all of our, our own vibe for each fair. And bringing it back to present day is what we're all about. It's a lot of fun, and we can't wait to bring it to the people in July.
We're joined by Angela Klein, the executive director of the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on their website, artfair.org. It is artfair.org to learn more information and keep up to date with the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair as we approach its running date this summer of Thursday, July 21st through Saturday, July 23rd in the city of Ann Arbor. And so, like many other art shows we have around the state over the course of the spring and the summer and early parts of the fall, many of them will say that they are a juried art show. There's very specific guidelines in order to be declared a juried art show. Can you give us the details on that, what it takes for an art show such as the one in Ann Arbor this July to be considered a juried show?
So each of, there's the Original Art Fair, which is I'm the executive director of, and we each have our own mission and parameters for our juried, we're a juried nonprofit, each one of us. So for us, I can speak to that. We have a jury advisory board. We have jurors from the University of Michigan to the Henry Ford, and where artists can send in, my apologies, where artists can send in their work and their slides, and it will be juried, and then it's a competitive process. And we are one of the most competitive juried art fairs in the country. About 30% of the artists that apply get into the show, and we're very proud of the work that we show.
So you mentioned that there are 3 art fairs throughout the year that consist of the Ann Arbor Art Fair, or consider themselves under the umbrella of the Ann Arbor Art Fair. Are there any differences between those 3 shows or the other 2 shows in comparison to this one that's usually held in the summer?
I'm sorry, are you asking the difference between our 3 shows under the art fair? Okay. Yes. Well, they're all amazing. They all have wonderful, artists and energy. For the Original Art Fair, we have, not only do we have work by 200 artists, but the work is also, we don't allow, if you think of the Original Art Fair, we only allow original art. There are no reproductions. We are also on the campus of the university, so we're surrounded in that green space with the beautiful architecture. The Summer Fair is, work that is juried by artists for artists. This is a really wonderful event. You're going to see paintings and sculptures and everything you can imagine, and such a beautiful energy there. And then if you go to the State Street, it's this great eclectic mix of vendors and, food and art. And, you have to try not to spend your full salary on the jewelry that you're going to see there. And it's just a great space and great energy.
We're joined by Angela Klein, the executive director of the original Ann Arbor Street Fair, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. There's more information on the street fair by visiting their website at artfair.org. That is artfair.org, and the dates for the Ann Arbor Street Fair this summer are July 21st through 23rd. That's Thursday, July 21st until Saturday, July 23rd. And again, more information is on their website at artfair.org. And so, Angela, how many artists will be at the fair this summer? How many different kinds of art can people expect to be able to explore and purchase at the Ann Arbor Art Fair?
Right. So there'll be nearly 1,000 artists, wow, and everything from ceramics to fibers to mixed media, painting, every class of art will be represented. And, I've been coming to this fair for almost 30 years now. So I am not only a buyer, but I am a mother. So I love showing my children this work and how artists not only create something, they bring it all the way to this event for you to see and meet them. And then as an art buyer, you can buy that artwork, have it in your home, and have something so inspiring for your children to see what it takes, like grit and determination and belief in yourself. So here you have this beautiful work of art that you get to enjoy and be inspired by and inspire your children. So not only am I the executive director, but I am a patron and a believer in the Ann Arbor Art Fair for many, many years.
So then for you, taking over this role as the executive director of the Ann Arbor Art Fair and running this show, running this art fair this summer and going forward, what does that mean for you as someone that is an appreciator of art and someone with a personal connection to this specific fair?
Well, it's such an honor. When Maureen Riley, she's the former director, and now she's the current artist coordinator of the original art fair. But what an honor to learn from her and to take over this role. I'm incredibly proud. As you can see, probably the artwork behind me, I purchased at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. It's the artist Lynn Whipple. And so this is something that I have every year have attended the art fair. I was on the board of directors 10 years ago and have enjoyed not only being a patron, but someone who just follows along the art fair to see what's going to happen next. So I'm excited to be a part of it now.
We're joined by Angela Klein, the executive director of the Ann Arbor Original Art Fair, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on their website, artfair.org, to keep up to date and explore some of the artists that will be attending this year's art fair and have their art on display and up for purchase at the original Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd in Ann Arbor. And so you mentioned earlier, Angela, that there's going to be over 1,000 artists that will be participating in the art fair this summer. How much space is that occupying in the city of Ann Arbor? Just how much will people just in proximity in that city be able to explore?
Well, it's 30 blocks. Wow. And, thank you to the city of Ann Arbor, to the DDA, to Destination Ann Arbor, to really making all of this possible, along with my other fair directors, Karen Delhay and Francis Todoro. So we all work together to joyfully take over the city of Ann Arbor and make it the largest outdoor art gallery. I've often told people it's like the Louvre. You don't want to explore it all in one day. It's best if you go to annarbor.org and find a hotel and maybe explore for 2 days, have a little lunch in between and go to each section of the fair and enjoy each section individually.
Yeah, you got 3 days there. You got the 21st, exactly. 22nd, and the 23rd. So come back multiple times. We encourage you to do that at the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair this July 21st through 23rd. More information on their website, artfair.org. We're joined by the executive director of the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair, Angela Klein, on the Megacast. And it's not just art at this show. What are some of the other experiences that patrons of the art fair will be able to experience this summer?
Really the full culture of Ann Arbor and more. The stages alone, we have the stage on Main, which will be featuring the music from the Arc, and it's presented by DTE. We have the fountain stage on the original art fair footprint. And on the fountain stage, we have all acoustic acts all day and some of the best music in the city. And then we have Mr. B, he's been with us, Mark Braun. He's a boogie woogie piano player, and he has been with us. Really, he's the soundtrack to our art fair for the past 30 years, and this will be his last year, so we're really going to celebrate him. And then we have the Ann Arbor Artist Civics Theater on the State Street footprint. So there's so much to explore in terms of music, and then in terms of food, as you know, Ann Arbor food is unbelievable. I mean, I've been to all around the world, and I compare food from when I was in Paris to food that I could get in Ann Arbor. I'm like, it's almost as good as Ann Arbor food. So you'll go from Zingerman's to Pacific Rim to J Garden. I mean, even a sandwich at the Ann Arbor Art Fair is the best sandwich you'll ever have.
Yeah, and it's 30 blocks, this entire show, so there's surrounding area all around there. There's so much different things you can experience both in the art fair proper, but also just in the city of Ann Arbor. And so talk about that connection too. You mentioned that, of course, you thank the city and the DDA for supporting this art fair and providing that kind of space. Just what kind of connection does this art fair have with the culture of Ann Arbor, especially in the summer where Michigan tourism really amps into high gear?
Yeah. So because, we partner with Destination Ann Arbor and Pure Michigan, we really try to incorporate every facet of Ann Arbor culture in this art fair so that there's something literally for everyone. If you are a lover of food, even if you are a lover of sports, you are going to find something at this event.
We're joined by Angela Klein, the executive director of the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair, which will occur this summer, Thursday, July 21st until Saturday, July 23rd. More information is on their website at artfair.org. That is artfair.org to keep up to date and learn more information. You can also find them on Twitter at A2 Street Art Fair and on Facebook as well at facebook.com/artfair, or just go to their website. You can also click over to their social media there at artfair.org to keep up to date and learn more information. Angela, another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye. At this time, anything else that we haven't spoken about that would be interesting or important for our audience to know about the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair that will be occurring this summer, or other topics that we haven't discussed?
Well, I would love to make sure that everyone knows that they can go to the Ann Arbor Art Fair .com so that they can see all the information about each fair, and about if they are an artist that's interested in applying, they can look at each section of the fair and see what works best for them and their work. And they can always reach out to any one of us, any one of the directors at the fairs, if they have questions about how to apply.
And those websites again, that website again is at artfair.org or AnnArborArtFair.com.
So artfair.org, artfair.org is my fair, the original street art fair. And then if you go to the AnnArborArtFair.com, that has all three fairs listed in the whole umbrella of the Ann Arbor Art Fair, so that you'll have all the information you need. And then if you're looking for hotels or food, you want to go to AnnArbor.org to get that information.
Angela, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break on the Megacast. We'll return in a few minutes on your radio homes for the program. 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. On the other side, we'll be joined by Gwen Schultz, a realtor who is selling a house with some very unique features in the Oakland County area. That's coming up next as we kick off the Michigan Megacast.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council,
as partners working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is the source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is.
Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line, for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
72.7% of high school students get less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. This can cause pain, obesity, and can very negatively affect your mental health. When you have a consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, you get sick less often, lose more weight, and have better relationships with those around you. For more information about the dangers of sleep deprivation, go to sleepfoundation.org. This message is brought to you by the WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you get your kids vaccinated?
It was hard for them to social distance, to be isolated from their friends.
I want them to get back to school and sports games. So as a pediatrician, I recommend the vaccine to everyone I know.
The boys lost a former teammate and classmate who was only 20 years old. It's been a devastating year.
We want to get back to normalcy. Our daughter is really looking forward to being with her friends, being a kid.
It's the Great Lakes water. And so what people do ends up in our waterways.
Flushable wipes are just evil. They should be thrown away. They're impossible to destroy, and they can cause significant problems.
One of the main things when you're cooking is to not dump fats, oils, and greases down your drains.
They stick to the sides of pipes, they stick to everything they come in contact with. Don't put it down the sink.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. If you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a Smurf house, well, here's your chance. Located on Pine Lake Golf Course in West Bloomfield, a home built in 1920 with a cushiony blue roof has hit the market, and joining us now to talk about this unique property is realtor Gwen Schultz. Gwen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you.
Appreciate having you on with us. So tell us about this unique home. When was it originally built? And from what you know, what went into the design of this? Because there are some very unique features to it.
It was built in 1920. It was designed by an architect named William Kuni, Kuni. And back in the day, during the automotive explosion, they built houses for executives way out from Detroit on areas like lakes to host events. And this house has some pretty interesting finishes, like the tile is called a flint faience, I forgot the spelling. Interesting, F-A-I-N-C-E, and that is actually the top of a spark plug, the ceramic at the top of a spark plug that they used to create tiles in the area that are very comparable to the Pewabic tiles. So interesting materials used throughout, lots of beveled glass, leaded glass.
Yeah, it really is just looking at some of the pictures of it before today's program. It is a really unique house, and what really catches the eye, I think, for most people is the fact that, and why it's been referred to so many times as the Smurf house, is because of its blue roof. It's got this blue roof on it, and I think the best description is the description we have, this cushiony blue roof on top. Yeah. What is that material made of, and why was that, and from what you know in the design of this home, something that was featured? Because it's something that's very different.
Yeah, it's very different. It's a golden cedar shake, and it was stained blue. The owners did a lot of renovation here, and they looked back for the colors, and that was, the roof has historically been blue, except for a short period when the whole house was green. But the waves of the roof emulate the lake, the waves of the lake. And it is I think it's an 85-year roof. It was just redone.
And so what is the roof made of that's given it such a unique look like that? Because you gave us some idea of the color history of it and all that. So it's referred to as the Smurf house, but I understand it also has a lot of other interesting nicknames too beyond that. That maybe are a little bit less undercutting.
Yeah, it's a cedar shake roof. But there's lots of names, like in the 30s, it was briefly known as the Blue Jay House. And people refer to it around the lake as the Gingerbread House, the Hansel and Gretel House, the Frosting House, lots of names. The Smurf name has pretty much stuck. And I talked to my seller about that. He says, yeah, I'm Papa Smurf.
We're joined by Gwen Schultz, a realtor with Coldwell Banker and Weir Manual, joining us on the Megacast. More information can be found at wayupmedia.com to find pictures of the property. And for those that may be interested in exploring this or they're looking for a home in the area, what are the dimensions of the home and the property? How many rooms? What's the size of the home?
There's 7 bedrooms. There used to be 9, but they turned one into a laundry room, and then they took out a wall between one. There are 9 fireplaces. Many of the bedrooms have a sleeping porch. Bathrooms are, forgot what it is, 7 full and 3 half baths, over 7,500 square feet. And I'm not 100% sure that doesn't include the 3rd level. So it's a large home with a finished basement. And an interesting fact about the finished basement is it used to be a grand ballroom, and it has terrazzo tile. And the owner was telling me that back in the day when they entertained, there's a room at the bottom of the descending steps. And that room was for the single ladies to sit and wait to be asked to dance.
It's very interesting. So a lot of interesting stories going into this home built in 1920. We're joined by Gwen Schultz, the realtor, helping to sell this home located in West Bloomfield, just off of the Pine Lake Golf Course.
And Pine Lake.
Yes.
It's 175 feet on the water.
Yes, so it's also on the water. Great location there. Really interesting home too. So that brings up the question: why does the owner want to sell this? He's got this home that's really uniquely built. It's got all these great features. It's in a great location. So why sell it? Why now?
They just want to go in a different direction with their lives right now. They've lovingly restored the house, and they said, it's time for a change.
More information can be found online. Just go ahead and look up Gwen Schultz with Coldwell Banker and Weir Manual. She is the realtor on this home as they're looking to sell it. Joining us on the Michigan Megacast, so many unique features, such a peculiar home, and so for a home like this, you look at the real estate market and where it's at. It's in the over the course of the pandemic, it's kind of ebbed and flowed between being a seller's market and a buyer's market. Where's the real estate market at right now, and how does that affect the way that you market this home?
Well, the luxury market is a little bit different from the houses that are under 800. But interestingly enough, in coming into this program, I did some research, and 8 houses have sold in Oakland County over $4 million in the last 6 months. Right now, there's 12 on the market. So the absorption rate is pretty good for the luxury market. We're still in a seller's market. The buyers and the sellers are having challenges right now. Buyers are having challenges buying, and sellers are having challenges selling, only because if they get a lot of offers, who do they pick? And that's where we come in, the realtors come in and do a lot of counseling. But there's a lot of factors that are changing the real estate market right now. The rates are going up, so it's pausing a little bit. Inventory is still low, but inventory is coming up now with the spring market. So but buyers are still pausing due to the interest rates, but we're still seeing a very quick market.
Gwen Schultz joins us on the Michigan Megacast, a realtor who is selling this really unique home located at 2690 Pine Lake Road on Pine Lake Golf Course and on the lake on Pine Lake in West Bloomfield Township in Oakland County. The house, affectionately known as the Smurf house because of its blue cushiony-looking roof, is listed by our current guest, Gwen Schultz, with Coldwell Banker and Weir Emanuel, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. So how did you end up as the realtor of this home? How did you end up with the listing of this, and how excited were you knowing the unique features and the interesting characteristics of this home to, as a realtor, get a chance to market this and sell this home?
Well, I live on the lake. That's one thing. So I offer people tours on the lake if they want to come all around and see the whole lake. But I know the owner. I've known her for a while. And when she said she was going to put the house on, I said, Ann, I would love to represent you. So it's a great opportunity, and I truly appreciate the character in homes like this. I've had the privilege of representing a few really unique houses, and this is one of my favorites. I've been doing this for over 35 years. So this is my favorites. The press has gone crazy with this house. I've been getting called and getting emails. I got something from the UK the first day I put it on because it's such a unique house. But I was very excited. The owners are very helpful in providing information about what they've done and some of the history. So it's been a joy.
More information can be found on cbwm.com. If you just go and look up Gwen Schultz, the real estate agent on this particular property, you'll be able to learn more information about it. And again, the address, 2690 Pine Lake Road in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, for more information. And you can also send Gwen an email about the property, too, if you're interested in learning more. gschultz@cbwm.com. That's GSCHULTZ@cbwm.com for more information to learn more about the property. Gwen, what's interest been like so far for those that are looking to buy the property? If people are interested in a property like this and they're going to go into the market, how much competition are they currently in right now at this stage of the sale?
Well, right now there's not a ton of competition because, again, there's only 12 houses on the market over the 4 million range. So it's going to take a special buyer. You know, I watch the stock market go up and down. I go, oh boy, hopefully that doesn't affect my high-end buyers. But I'll tell you, a lot of the people's in this range, a lot of the buyers in this range are cash buyers. So hopefully that, it doesn't get as affected as the medium price range homes. But the competition is out there, but I don't think there's anything like this on the market with the lake frontage, with the golf course frontage, with the history, with the condition that the house is in. When they bought it, the house needed a lot of work. So right now, an owner can take it over and they don't have to do any work. It's on 3 acres, so private as well.
Gwen, before we let you go, anything else we haven't talked about today in terms of this property or other interesting properties that may be for sale that people can discuss with you at this time?
Other than my phone ringing off the hook saying, hey, what else do you have on the lakes? The inventory is still low. It's still low for lake frontages. So the house is a joy to see. I'm going to answer your prior question. I do have a couple showings set up for the weekend, so I'm hoping that we can move it. But it's going to take a special buyer.
More information can be found at gschultz.cbwm.com, her website, gschultz.cbwm.com. Gwen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it. We'll take a short break on the Megacast. When we return, Oakland University professor of philosophy Mark Rigstad joins us on the Michigan Megacast.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Neighborhood storm drains carry water directly to local creeks and streams. No filters, no treatment.
Storm drains also help reduce street flooding when it rains.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
It is easy to do your part by adopting a storm drain.
Find a storm drain, check it, and clear it every month.
So keep storm drains for rain only.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
We as Michiganders feel connected to this resource in a way that I think is really powerful.
Conservation starts with a caring, committed community.
For me, it's peaceful to have a relationship with the river.
Every single one of us has a role to make sure that those waterways stay safe and healthy, being careful about what goes down the storm drain.
Just even eliminating some of your single-use plastic makes a difference.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior. These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance. They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different. One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games? Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Whatever gets you talking.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. With the political rhetoric continuing to become more pointed and severe over time, one often asks the question of how do we get here and allow this hostility to become so mainstream? With us now to help answer some of those questions is Mark Rigstad, professor of philosophy at Oakland University. Mark, thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Appreciate having you on. So can you talk a little bit about how extreme views have become more prevalent these days? Is that a result of just more information being out there and more people having a voice, or has this been something that has been building up over time and is just coming to blows in our modern moment?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think the answer is complex because, of course, white supremacy has always been mainstream in the history of American culture. Initially, when Christopher Columbus arrived in the island of Hispaniola, when he wrote back to Spain, declaring that the natives would be easy to enslave, he didn't invoke whiteness, he invoked steel. That was sufficient. Technological superiority in arms was enough justification for the first conquistadors. But whiteness was then invented. Weaponized white supremacy was invented as a way of a better way to placate, guilty Christian conscience over the idea of merely invoking military prowess to subjugate an entire people. They had to have some sort of idea about the supremacy, the superiority of the slavers over the slaves. And so this idea of white supremacy has been with us since the 16th century. And so it is a deeply rooted part of our culture. I don't think it's new. I do think that there's a sense in which it's become more mainstream because I think that the voices of white supremacist, white nationalist politics have become elevated in the public media and as well in American politics. I think we can recall back in the 80s when if we would see white nationalists on TV, it was in some sort of, clown show on, Maury Povich or some TV show like that, where they were really being trotted out for the audience to laugh at. And I think that, of course, it was still there, but it has become elevated in American politics for a variety of reasons. I think part of the reason might be that it's not that white supremacist ideas have suddenly emerged or reemerged, but I think that they've been radicalized, and they've been radicalized in part because of the way in which public media and the algorithms that drive attention within social media have polarized American society. And also the internet creates echo chambers, little bubbles of misinformation that help to radicalize the white nationalists in our country.
So is it your belief that the timeline of white supremacy and some of these more severe political rhetorics and discourse being put into the public square, has that been more of a result of certain leaders coming into play, or the fact that those that are supporting these leaders and maybe have had these opinions and kept them more latent over time, now they have a greater platform with social media and with the controversy that it brings in the more mainstream media, and the attention they can garner, especially as they support certain political candidates who hold these opinions. It's the question of, is it that this is getting louder, or just that there are more voices yelling it and having a platform for people to consume that information?
Yeah, and I do think that the rise of white supremacist violence has been a function of politicians and media platforms pandering to racial hate. Racial hate is big business. I know that a lot of advertisers have pulled out of the Tucker Carlson show because he foments theories that are then re-articulated in the manifestos of murderous white nationalists. And but at the same time, his show is incredibly popular and well-funded. And so, you have to follow the money. Who's actually paying for this? Who wants to see this kind of hatred brewing in America? There have been attempts to deplatform the platforms. When the El Paso shooter was radicalized in the pages of 8chan, that platform was itself deplatformed. But it has reemerged under a different name, which I won't mention because I don't want to drive traffic to it. And now, where is it? It's on Russian servers. So there's a geopolitical dimension to this. Our geopolitical enemies want to foment anti-Black white nationalist violence in America because they know that it will divide us, and it's it can destroy us. This is a national security issue. The Department of Homeland Security has declared that white nationalist violence is the #1 terrorist threat, right? We're less worried about Al-Qaeda and ISIS at this point in American history than we are about the radicalization of people in the pages of 4chan or in the Tucker Carlson show on Fox News.
We're joined by Mark Rigstad, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the program. More information can be found on the university's website at oakland.edu. That's oakland.edu. To keep up to date with Mark and the entire Department of Philosophy at Oakland University. And so, as leaders come into play and also amplify these voices, either to gain their own power within their party in particular, or because they legitimately believe these things, can that really blur the line when leaders of all walks of life are pushing these extreme narratives, or does it do the opposite effect, where it doesn't blur the lines? It makes the lines so much more clearer, and then people are more willing to then pick one side or the other.
Yeah, well, I do think that once you start to mobilize political will around polarizing ideas, that it tends to snowball and it gets worse and worse. So in a way, it does clarify lines of political contestation and conflict, but also hardens those lines at the same time. And that's the very dangerous part. I mean, the very idea of a distinction between white and Black people as a racial idea, which is completely fictional, is inherently polarizing. I mean, this is white. Nobody is this color. Absolutely nobody. This is Black. Absolutely nobody is that color. And so we have this schema of two polarized conceptions of race, and then we have to shoehorn people into them. Well, if you're concerned that there are fewer and fewer people, as the replacement theory is concerned about, that fit into this category, expand it as it has historically expanded. It didn't used to include Italians or Irish, and in the most recent census, it included Middle Eastern and North African people. Surely, a lot more people are closer to this color than to this color on the planet. If you're concerned with the idea that you have to populate both of those categories, first come up with a reason why. Why do we even need to retain these? I think that's a complex question, because the ideas themselves have history, and we don't want to erase our history. We want to be to engage with it critically. And so, we came up with the idea of, the African American as a category of people. But, there is a Black community in America that doesn't want to identify that way, because there is a difference between the community of descendants of the victims of the Atlantic slave trade and somebody who just moved to this country from Cameroon or Ghana. And so, when people want to self-identify with their history, it's important, I think, to sort of respect that category, but we have to do so critically without buying into the mythology of this polarizing conception of race. Because all of the attempts to sort of establish a scientific basis for racism have failed. The idea of the Caucasian race, and to ask anybody to Google this, check out, find information. We live in an information-rich time. There's no such thing scientifically as the Caucasian race. So the science has really debunked the idea that there's a biological basis for race. Yes, melanin is real, but it doesn't map on very clearly to our racial categories. And especially in order to educate ourselves critically about race, we live in an information rich time. There's no reason for people to get trapped into echo chambers and epistemic bubbles of misinformation. We need to train young people to take advantage of the information that's available to them so they don't fall into these traps. I mean, I think that we should be teaching internet literacy from K through 12 so that people won't end up getting trapped inside an echo chamber that's feeding them false information. That's what's really fueling the development of this kind of hatred. Prejudiced beliefs have a tendency to create a certain kind of evidence ignorance or evidence blindness. And I think that racist ideas are closer to like leaps of faith than they are to evidence-based beliefs. W.E. Du Bois articulated this when he said that whiteness is the ownership of the earth forever and ever, amen. Right? Where it sounds like it's a religious idea. That actually sounds like the lyrics to some sort of white nationalist country music song in this context. But I think it gets to the heart of the idea that it's more like a leap of faith type of belief than it is a evidence-based rational belief. And those kinds of beliefs tend to be impervious to rational argument. And that is a part of the problem that we're dealing with. Jean-Paul Sartre also talked about racism as being a kind of faith, but it's bad faith. It always involves a certain level of self-deception about the nature, not of just of others, but of your own identity as well. And so I think we struggle, the white community struggles with the problem of white ignorance. First of all, we are ignorant about, we don't have the same amount of intelligence or knowledge or understanding of Black culture as they have of ours, right? Because we don't have to learn about it in order to navigate it and survive. As James Baldwin famously said, I have to learn about white culture because so it won't kill me. And I think that white people need to overcome that ignorance that they have about the communities that don't identify as white. But we also have to become less ignorant about ourselves. Like the polling of white people indicates that white people feel very vulnerable, like they have very few opportunities. And yet the social science tells us that that's not the case. And just in 2016, there was a study that found that in Detroit, Livonia, and Dearborn, that Black applicants for mortgages were twice as likely to be denied as white applicants. And this is by companies that probably have diversity, equity, and inclusion statements as a part of their corporate culture. And yet we see in the effects, the actual consequences, the continuation of systemic racism. And the whole theory about white people being replaced and being overcome and being disadvantaged by a multicultural society is not rooted in social scientific fact. It's a complete mythology, and it's embraced as a kind of irrational faith. And that's something that's very difficult to uproot. But the way to do it, I think, is through education about how to form rational beliefs. And that has to start at a very early age. If you give 10-year-olds smartphones, you have to teach them how to find good information and how to distinguish between that which is ideologically loaded and that which is scientifically vetted.
We're joined by Mark Rigstad, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More on everything going on at Oakland University at oakland.edu. That's oakland.edu. And so, yeah, education plays a critical role in this. It plays a critical role in how we get ourselves out of these tumultuous political times, get this hateful rhetoric certainly out of the vernacular of our society, which is an uphill battle because, as you said, it's rooted in the history of this country, and almost every step of the history of the United States of America can be rooted back and is rooted back into discussions of race. And so as we're talking about this hateful speech becoming more prevalent, a couple of questions come up. As we talk about how do we stomp this out of our society? How do we weed this kind of rhetoric out of our society and tone down this hateful speech and get rid of it? Do we either let it out in the open so we know these people are believing, these people have these beliefs and these people are wrong, or do we try to weed those people out of society altogether and not have that speech out there and try to really help help tone down the exposure to that information. What do we do in this case? Is it better to let that speech be out there and educate, or is it better to bring these people or to not bring these people out into the open, as we have previously tried to do, it seems, and bring those back to the fringes of society?
Yeah, that is a difficult question, Tyler. I think that there's some evidence to show that deplatforming can sometimes backfire and have unintended consequences, where people who are kicked off of Facebook or Twitter, then they go to 4chan and 8chan and further radicalize because they aren't exposed to a diverse ecosystem of arguments and of information. So I place somewhat greater, although limited, hope in education, because of course, part of the problem is, the undereducation and miseducation, but I do think that there are things that we can do. I've noticed when I have students, I teach political philosophy, so I get students from, run the gambit. I get the white nationalists, I get the, progressive, the anarchists, the communists, the, liberals and conservatives and libertarians, the whole gamut. But what I find is that students with radical views tend to moderate their views when they engage in critical philosophical reflection, right? I had a neo-Nazi student my first semester at Oakland University, and he wanted to defend, Mein Kampf. And by the end of that, I said, okay, let me help you. I will help you by showing you all of the countervailing arguments that you're going to have to examine in order to justify your position. By the end of the semester, he wrote like a critique of Hitler, complete moderation of his views. His favorite book remained the Unabomber Manifesto, and so I continued to worry about that student, but I noticed a certain amount of moderation, and I've seen this again and again and again, that critical reasoning, education that's built around critical reasoning has a tendency to moderate political views, and I think that's where we should place our hope.
We're joined by Mark Rigstad, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And so where at this time do you forecast that we're headed with this? And because of the way that we're handling hate speech as a society at this time, and maybe we are at that point where we are in the infancy of figuring it out, and that's why it seems so severe and it seems like there's no direction here. But what do you see as where we're headed on this issue? Will it want to be getting worse the longer we leave it unaddressed aggressively, or do you see this as something that could fade away depending on what sort of actions are taken in the next several years by people that aren't on these fringes of society and are trying to snuff out some of this hate speech?
So that's a hard question because it calls for a prediction. And as Yogi Berra said, it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future. When I told my aunt Barbara that I was going to go to graduate school to get a PhD in philosophy, she asked me whether I thought that it would help me to know the future. And at that time I said, I seriously doubt it. And to this day, I retain the same view. The future never continues to surprise. So I don't know where we're headed, but I do know what people can do to try to steer the course of history in a better direction, in away from hate and towards unity. We do have to embrace the idea that there really is strength in diversity. There's all kinds of social science on this, that when groups of people have to make collective decisions, their deliberations are actually better. They have better value. They achieve better outcomes when the participants are themselves diverse. That's a social scientific view that is, of course, rejected by Tucker Carlson and by the Buffalo shooter because they're miseducated. They are embracing mythological ideas and not basing their views in science. And so we do need to, I think, combat anti-science at the same time that we combat those views that embrace it. And I think we have to deal with the problem. This is a white people problem. And so we have to deal with this as a white community. There are people who feel like multiculturalism is an assault on white people, that they're somehow burdened with the idea of white guilt. They see the idea of white pride as something that's impossible. Well, I think it is possible for people to feel proud about their white or European heritage. The supposed intellectual superiority of white people has to be connected, is been connected with the idea of, a prominent role of Europeans in the history of science. Of course, there are prominent roles of other cultures as well. But so let's go ahead and take pride in that. And if you're going to do so, don't do it on the basis of a bunch of anti-science malarkey, propping up your white supremacist racism. Be proud about the fact that the civil rights movement, which overcame many of the injustices of slavery and Jim Crow, involved white agency, right? That if we're going to feel good about ourselves, let's feel good about ourselves because of our moral accomplishments, rather than our ability historically to succeed at conquest and domination.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Keep up to date with the philosophy department at Oakland University and everything else going on there on the education front and more at Oakland by visiting oakland.edu. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we will return with more from the Megacast. We'll be joined by Fred Hunter, the executive director of the Detroit Police Academic League, joining us next on the Michigan Megacast.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council,
we work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
A rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. Being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime-victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now is the executive director of Detroit PAL, one of almost 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Shared Detroit platform. Fred Hunter is live with us now on the Megacast. Fred, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Honored for the opportunity to have a conversation.
Yeah, appreciate having you on. So first off, can you tell us about the Detroit Police Academic League and its history?
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to. Detroit PAL was started in 1969. So, the focus is the mission. We are in partnership with the community volunteers in Detroit Police Department to help young people find their greatness through athletic and youth enrichment programs. And the history, started with Detroit Police Department wanting to, really bring things together in the community in the late 60s. And the powerful platform of sports and working in the community is what started us, and that's what we're doing now.
And so what does your partnership with the police department look like at this time, and how does that partnership benefit the programs that you're providing in the community?
Yeah, it stems from the leadership. So when you talk about Detroit PAL and my history, but specifically Chief James White and the other leaders, they believe in community policing and the power of having police officers in as positive role models for young people. Focused on the kids in the community and what they do and what they can become. And it not only helps the perspective of young people, it also helps the perspective of officers, to see children from a youth development standpoint. So that partnership has been strong over our history. We actually have 4 full-time DPD officers on staff with us, and they are youth development officers. They're actually interacting with young people, serving as mentors, teaching our GREAT model, and helping young people to be their best and to find their greatness.
We're joined by Fred Hunter, the Executive Director of the Detroit Police Academic League, or Detroit PAL, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You can find more information on Share Detroit's website at sharedetroit.org by searching in their Find a Nonprofit section for Detroit PAL or Detroit Police Academic League and learn more. So what are some of the different athletic leagues and other programs that are provided through Detroit PAL in the local area?
Yeah, no, appreciate that. We offer kind of 2 primary platforms. So one is our athletics and the sports program. So we offer, 12 different sports for youth ages 4 to 18, and they range the gamut, from soccer and volleyball, cheer, football, basketball, track and field. So sports is a big hook. Young people are interested in sports, and you can learn life lessons. We actually teach the GREAT model, through our sports programs. The G is for goal setting, R is resilience, E, embracing a healthy lifestyle, A is accountability, and T is teamwork. And these are well-researched but important life lessons for young people to learn through sports, and also through our youth enrichment programs as well. So we have a variety of things that we integrate with our sports program and that we do separately on the youth enrichment side, just to help young people be exposed to new ideas, new academic opportunities, and new ways for them to, see the greatness inside.
We're joined by Fred Hunter, the Executive Director of Detroit Police Academic League, or Detroit PAL, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information can be found on their website as well at DetroitPAL.org. That's Detroit, PAL.org for more information, or visit sharedetroit.org as well. So tell us more about the youth enrichment programs and some of what those entail and how they can also provide benefit to kids in the Detroit area.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because everyone's known us for sports, and sports is enough in terms of what you can learn. But what we realize is young people need more, just in terms of where they are and where they can be. I'll take one example is literacy. Most of the youth, 80% plus that we're serving, are in the city of Detroit, and the literacy rates in terms of reading level at the 3rd grade is very challenging. So what we understand is, like, for our Little Hoopers program for 4 to 8-year-olds, not only are we teaching them lessons through sport, but we actually have a books before ball component where we can focus in on literacy, increasing their love of reading, teach them, expose them to great books so they can see more in themselves. So youth enrichment brings in literacy. We have STEM programs, including drones and ecotech science, and they also exposure into to colleges and to a variety of mentorships and financial literacy. So there are a lot of opportunities to integrate with our sports programs, but also to focus in on the exposures that can help young people see more from themselves and more for their future.
More information on DetroitPal.org. That's DetroitPal.org for more information. And so if parents are interested in signing their kids up for these programs, whether it be the sports, the youth enrichment, or combinations of both, how can they go about doing so? What age range of kids are these programs for?
Yeah, the range is from 4 to 18. We have a real strong concentration from about 4 to 15. What we've done, we just recently redesigned our website. So if you want to see a cool website that just exemplifies kind of the culture, the passion, the excitement we have about city and about being a youth development organization, you can go to DetroitPal.org. And through that, there's actually a place where you can see events and list all the different programs we have, those sports programs that are running now and they're registering for now, and then the youth enrichment programs as well. And it's also, we list other community things that we're doing. We got a KFC promo on there. So, we're working about 50 different KFC franchises around the Metro Detroit area that are actually offering savings books for only $1. You get $30 in savings, but those dollars contribute directly to Detroit Pal and helps us keep the cost low, but still add a tremendous amount of value to what we're able to give young people in our programs.
We're joined by Fred Hunter, the Executive Director of Detroit Pal, joining us on the Megacast. It's the Detroit Police Academic League. You can learn more information by visiting sharedetroit.org and clicking on their Find a Nonprofit link and searching Detroit Police Academic League or Detroit Pal, or by visiting Detroit Pal's website at DetroitPal.org. That's DetroitPal.org. You also have a really fun event coming up. You have a golf outing that will be coming up soon. Can you tell us about that golf outing and how people can participate if they'd like to do so?
Yeah, the golf outing we have is related to Paul W. Smith. So he has been a longtime supporter for, probably about 15 years. He's just dedicated, his time and energy and resources to doing a great golf outing every year. So this year is July 11th. And it's just an opportunity for corporations, to contact us if they're interested in having a foursome or sponsoring a hole or, being a support. It's over at the Detroit Golf Club. So, right in the city, there, 7 Mile and Woodward area. It's a great day. It's a lot of fun, but the dollars go to help us and similar nonprofits to further our missions.
We're joined by Fred Hunter. He is the Executive Director of the Detroit Police Academic League, joining us on the Megacast. More information on their website, DetroitPal.org. That's DetroitPal.org for more information, or visit ShareDetroit.org to learn more as well. And so we're heading into the summer months. School's about to be out for most kids, and families are looking for summer programs that are enriching for their education, get them more socialized while they're over the summer months, keep them off the couch and away from those screens as much as they possibly can, and keep them active. So for those that may be interested in some of those programs, what sort of summer programs are offered by Detroit Pal?
Yeah, a couple of things I'll mention. We have a Girls Changing the Game initiative. So what we understand is when you're doing sports or any program, sometimes, especially with sports, there's interest for boys to sign up, but the research shows that young girls that are in sports programs actually help to develop even more sometimes than young boys and become those future leaders. We like to say girls who are changing the game become women who change the world. So we've got right now a girls empowerment series that's happening here in May and June. We've got football and cheer registration as well. Where not only are they learning skills in athletics, but also have competitions related to that. We have a great camp. It's called the Lab Camp up at Northwood University, where we're teaching young people all the principles of starting a business and learning from professors at Northwood University. So that's something that's also on our website. So from sports programs, Tiny Tigers, baseball, softball program as well, played at the corner ballpark here in Detroit where the old Tigers legends played. We have that as one of our home facilities. So a lot on the sports side, a lot on the youth enrichment side as well.
More information can be found on DetroitPal.org. That's DetroitPal.org to learn more about the Detroit Police Academic League, including all of their summer programs coming up, and get signed up for them as well as all those fun events, including their golf outing, which, as Fred said, will be on July 11th of this year and is in partnership with Paul W. Smith and a great fundraiser for the Detroit Police Academic League. Fred, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. And so I want to give you an opportunity, if there's anything that we haven't discussed that people should be aware of or maybe interested in learning about the Detroit Police Academic League, or should be keeping an eye out for in the near future.
Yeah, a couple of things, just understanding in our 53 years of history, we served over 400,000 participants. And that doesn't include the parents and the volunteers and the family members and the friends. So there's a lot to what we do, but man, we're more excited about the next 400,000 that we can serve through our programs. And, for us, even a small amount goes a long way. The KFC promotion that's going through May, for $1, that investment in all the KFC stores that are supporting this, it helps us in terms of our mission. So every dollar is important to us, and we just appreciate the community support. Things that when you talk about Share Detroit and the 300 nonprofits, the way we get things done is through the support of others. There's no mission without the money. So even small amounts, $5 a month, can help and make great things happen. So we just appreciate people knowing what we've done, what we're looking to do, and excited if they can support us as well.
Fred, thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you much, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Detroit Police Academic League, or Detroit PAL, is one of 299 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. You can learn more by going to sharedetroit.org and looking up the Detroit Police Academic League, or by visiting their website directly at detroitpal.org. That's detroitpal.org to learn more information about all their upcoming events, all their programs throughout the year, including those summer programs for you parents that are looking to keep your kids active, socialized, and learning all throughout the summer with a great local organization. That is going to do it for this Thursday edition of the Megacast. I want to give a big thank you to everybody that did join us on today's edition of the program. We had a slew of guests from all throughout the state of Michigan with us on the program today. Of course, Fred Hunter, the executive director of the Detroit Police Academic League, who joined us just now. We also had Mark Rigstad, a professor of philosophy at Oakland University. Gwen Schultz, a realtor, was with us on the program, as well as Angela Klein from the Ann Arbor Art Fair and Dr. Pam Clark from Grace Centers of Hope. All of these interviews can be found on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find information on all of our partnering stations and learn more about the original programming that they have in the other 22 hours of the day that they join us that they're not joining us each and every day. I want to also give a programming update for those of you in the Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Troy areas that regularly listen to us on the BIF. We will not be on the BIF tomorrow on Friday, May 20th, as it is their annual 24-hour radiothon fundraiser, BIF Stock, tomorrow beginning at 7 o'clock a.m. on 88.1 The BIF and running until 7 a.m. on Saturday. It's their yearly donation drive, and those funds critical to running that great operation there, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Learn more at WBFH.FM or by following them on all of their social media at the BIF 881. Also want to encourage you to go to our local news website to keep up to date on COVID-19 and more information from all across the state of Michigan on things making headlines, making news in all regions of the Great Lakes state. CivicCenterTV.com/local-news. We have those links at the top of the page to the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division's regularly updated COVID-19 pages, so you can stay up to date on everything that you need to know. And then the top stories making headlines all across the state from a number of different outlets just below that on our page. Again, CivicCenterTV.com/local-news. Big thank you as well to our crew that makes this program possible each and every day. Calvin Brown, our technical director, with me in the studio for the full 2-hour marathon of the Megacast, 5 days a week. Jared Clark, our Zoom producer at the office of My Michigan TV in Troy, Michigan. And the king of television himself, Larry Nyland, our producer, helping everybody get ready for the show, including us, to have informed conversations on a number of different topics. On My Michigan TV, Steve Lato Live is coming up next, followed by Larry and Ronnie Live. We'll return Friday with another edition of the Megacast.